Hi everyone, it's Brona from the elbowroom. I'm here with Bev Porrino today, who is the lead teacher of our 250 Hatha Yoga Teacher Training program. Obviously, one of the core parts of the yoga teacher training is the teacher. Everyone likes to know about the background, the expertise, skill level. So Bev, tell us a little bit about your background and your yoga journey so far.
Like everyone, you've had lots of stops and starts in everything you do. So my initial introduction to yoga was quite small because my mum was very bohemian. So she was a meditator and she believed in the universe and being grateful for things. So that's kind of where the initial influences came from. And then as I got older and became more aware, I rejected it all, like everybody does, you know. So I went into athletics and I was pretty competitive in sports, and I kept getting injured and it just kept coming up. You need to do yoga, you need to go and find something. And I remember going into yoga classes, and this would be in my 20s, so I'm approaching 60 now, so this is a good few years ago, and thinking, this is not for me. But there was all these people, these old people, who now I think were probably my age. And
not old at all.
No, and they could do stuff that I couldn't, and they were doing things, they were standing on their heads, and they were getting into postures, and I was like fighting my body all the way, and the teacher was an old guy, and he just kept coming up saying, like, just relax, and let it happen, and don't fight your body. Why are you fighting your body? And he kept asking me why I'm fighting my body, and I'm like, So I didn't start off with this Zen approach to yoga. I went into it for totally the wrong reasons, you know. But once I got into a rhythm of doing a few little things every day, I just started to feel it. And then there was one day I was on the mat, and it was just this one moment I took a breath, and everything my whole body just seemed to align. And I can't explain it, but I just got this gift of feeling that there was more. There was way more than this. I embarked upon yoga as a fitness thing, so I was doing really strong asana practices, and then I became an Ashtangi, and then as I got into my 30s and 40s, it was all very strong and it was very able, and I had a practice in a yoga studio in Amsterdam. I came off my bike and I got injured, had a bad pelvis injury, and I had to change everything again. So that is when I believe I started to practice yoga. So that was in my sort of early 40s. This, again, a moment of clarity came where I'm not this body. And then it just came. More practices came, more meditations came. I found it easy to meditate. And now my main practice is meditation. And I actually don't care if I can stand on my head or my hands anymore. I still can, but actually it's not the goal anymore. It feels very freeing. And these days I practice with the Isha Foundation a lot, so they're part of Sadhguru's group. I do Kriyas and I have monthly satsangs and work with them.
And you were also a nurse as well, weren't you? So you have that background, and your current role. I mean, I've met a couple of people who've said there's nothing that Bev can't fix when it comes to the body.
So true.
Well, that's what I've heard. And obviously anatomy is a big part of the yoga teacher training, and I think having someone who really has lived that kind of background can bring it to life on the program.
I became a nurse again because my mother, she was a nurse. So I was hanging around one summer after finishing school, thinking I was going to go to, I don't know, India and just travel around and do. And she said, well, you're thinking about the rest of your life. So I went off and did my nurse training, and I loved it. And I finished my nurse training, and I worked on the wards for a while. Then I moved from nursing into social work, and I got a job in stress management, managing how people manage stress in the workplace. But then the nursing, I've always been involved, interested in anatomy, physiology, because, like I said, I was a young athlete. And when I got injured, I wanted to know why my hamstring was tight, or why my knee was hurting, and why I couldn't run that far, and why I couldn't do this, that. So when I came off my bike in Amsterdam, I hurt my pelvis, and I had physio, osteo, everything. Nothing was really working, and I'd started the process of becoming a physio at this point. My whole life I've been studying the body in one way or another, whether it's anatomy, physiology, or energy system, and I'm an anatomist. I study anatomy to quite a deep level. I studied fascia, I've been to lots of dissections, so I can see how they cut the bodies up, because I like to know, not just hear what's going on inside, and then how does this become a whole human and a spirit. Body is a complete system that works together, and whatever you're thinking, your body is slave to it. So you have to get this right in order for your body to do what you want. What's in the body is in the mind, what's in the mind is also in the body. You cannot separate it. What I do now is called neuromuscular therapy, but it has an additional thing that's called neuroactivation, which is we look at the lymphatic points in the body in relationship to the nervous system and how we can release the energy flow before we treat the injury.
Mostly when people are looking at yoga teacher training courses, they're like 200 hour. This is 250 hour. Can you maybe just tell us a little bit about what's in those extra 50 hours and just some of the benefits?
Having that extra 50 hours gives us a bit more breathing space to dive a little deeper into things. For example, along with the normal asana and alignment and the anatomy and the physiology, and you get functional anatomy and physiology as part of this, so it's not just on the book, you do it on yourself, you learn it to look at each other. So we get to do more of that. We put part of that online, so you can do the dry bones there, and then we come into class and we work through it in class. Any questions and things that you don't understand, you can get to work through it in your practices. Plus, because it's online, on that bit is online, you can keep going back to it. It's not just like you get a few lectures and that's it, it's done. So that's the benefit of that. But we can delve deeper into so many things. Like we have an amazing cookery session, which is really like it's almost a full day by the end of it. So we come in, we practice, we have some gratitude, we look at the food, and then we have an Indian lady called Jyoti who comes in. She's part of my meditation group. She comes in and she 3-course dinner, and all the students get involved in right from the get-go of making chapati from scratch, from making veggie curries, and she's from Kerala, so she cooks this beautiful food, and it's all from the sattvic point of view, which is not eating things that are going to stimulate your nervous system. So we can do things like that. And then looking at the philosophy, again, our philosophy is, we have philosophy in yoga teacher training. And again, that can be very dry, the Bhagavad Gita, which is a really interesting story, but you've got to break it down. So I bring all the deities in, you know, so we have a look at Kali. What was Kali like? How did Kali come about? And what is, and then Shiva, the many faces and names of Shiva, you know, how do we understand what Shiva is, or Shakti? So you get to look at the gods of yoga, the blue people, see what they do.
That's the most exciting way I've ever heard those described, so brilliant, yeah.
And more importantly about that is, I'm so passionate that, you know, we don't just misappropriate yoga and just take all the good bits that we kind of understand, like the movement, that when we look at the Vedas, this is an amazing, the Vedas are an amazing education system that cover everything from geography, geometry, from poetry to building a temple to learning about each other. And you know, when we look at all the modern coaches that are around now that are talking about, you know, self-awareness, you can find all that in the Vedas. 5,000 years and plus way more. So it's all there, we're just rediscovering it.
Another important aspect of teacher training is the actual practicing teaching. So can you maybe talk a little bit about how that's done on the programme and how people are supported?
Yeah, we have specific modules that we cover. So we cover, like I said, the anatomy, we cover philosophy, and then we cover how we move, so the asana practices. And the asana are tied directly into your breath and your energy system. So I always say to my students, this body of yours, when you find the alignment, when you find the balance in it, because we're asymmetric, we sit in a funny way at our desk, we created these differences in our body. When you start to understand your imbalances and how to connect with that, doesn't mean you have to correct it, how you connect with it, you become the conduit between the earth and the cosmos. So any energy out there and any energy from the earth comes through you and to you, back and forth. And I think that's really important when we're looking at the asana. So we have foundation postures. Now, a lot of people come onto a foundation yoga teacher training and they're kind of expecting pretzels. That's not my teacher training. My teacher training is classical hatha. You learn very strong foundation poses, so you build strength and integrity. You hold the poses. It's not exercise. And you're going to learn to breathe and connect with your body and look at the nuances of your body with the imbalances, and also through the anatomy filter too. So we have a number of foundation poses. We give you a practice that then you can make your own practice out of, and you learn to observe each other in the posture. So you learn to look at someone in a downward dog and see if they're tight in the hamstrings or what adjustments can you give them. So this is so important that you get to not just do your movements, but you get to feel it, and then you get to observe each other and learn about each other, and that creates this really lovely community and support system as well.
And of course, any of the participants on the program get to teach as well in a live scenario, don't they? On our schedule. So there's lots of opportunities to practice that, which is important because there's a confidence thing as well.
It is. It's building confidence and standing in front of the room. So aside from the asana that we give you, you get to stand at the front and you start to teach each other, initially in small groups and then bigger and bigger. So you stand at the front. So halfway through the teacher training, within 6 months, you're already standing at the front and you're teaching a group of people. You're teaching small, like 10-minute segments or 15-minute segments here. And you see the confidence in people grow from the like, I'm too afraid to get up, to like this diva yogis. It's so fun and beautiful to watch this growth. It's a real year of self-awareness and self-care. I mean, where else can you get that?
So it's all types of people that come on yoga programs, because obviously you don't have to just come on a yoga teacher program to become a teacher. And lots of people, if you've been doing it for years or you're only just starting to discover, but you want to bring it to the next level, it's also a great one. And I suppose, do you have any stories of experiences of people on the programs, or what kind of people do come on the program?
So it's so mixed. Every year is different. Like, for example, on this course, we've got somebody who has never done any formal education before and is so scared of getting it wrong that she does so much extra work that she doesn't need to. And then we've got people who are, two people who are fitness trainers who actually want something bigger and broader. And then we've got somebody who really loves tennis and loves to move, and she just wants to be able to move. She's my age, so she wants to invest in her next decade, which I think is really important, and beyond. And then we have, on this course I have a doctor, and she's in public health. So her view is that she's always practiced yoga. She definitely sees that the two practices, yoga and allopathic medicine, should be more intertwined in this country. So that's something that she's invested in herself. So lots of different professional backgrounds, professional people to people, mums who are just wanting something new. Some people come on the training because they just want to learn about themselves. They're not even interested in teaching at this point. So halfway through the training, we go like, where is it you want to go with this? Do you want to teach? Because these are the things you now need to do. Or are you happy just at this pace? See, people go like, usually when people come in and say, I'm not sure if I want to teach, halfway through they go, yeah, I do, yeah, absolutely.
And oftentimes it can work the other way around. People who are coming in thinking, oh, I want to teach, and they just like, oh no, actually I want to keep this for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I do expect people to have a practice. You come on the teacher training, you may already have practice, you may have a sporadic practice, but when you do teacher training, I expect a commitment that you have a regular daily practice, and that can be a meditation or being kind to someone. That's a practice. Practicing being delightful.
We could do a lot more of that, people practicing being delightful.
It doesn't mean you're on your mat 10 hours a day. We live in a modern world. We have to find ways of being yogic in this world, and there's plenty of opportunity.
And it can also be such a wonderful way of finding a group of like-minded people. I mean, the camaraderie that you see on these courses, And, you know, the elbow room has been established for over 20 years, so the network is vast. It, you know, it goes right across the country and probably beyond. So it's full of a really supporting community.
Yes, it's lifelong friends made. I mean, I've got friends from when I did my formal teacher training.
Yeah.
So people from my initial groups, who are not even here anymore, but they're in another life. You know, so you do make these friends, but you do because when I teach on our course, we cover what I call the 4 parts of yoga, which is the intellectual part, which is your philosophy, the practices, and then there's bhakti, which is devotional practices. You know, you can devote yourself to something, someone, or a deity, if you like. I just recommend you devote yourself to keeping your plants alive, or you know, keeping yourself healthy, or something like that. It doesn't have to be such a big gesture. It can be something here and now. And the other path is karma. So doing something for your community, you know, doing something for your community on a regular basis.
So finally, I think you've given us plenty to think about on the programme, and I think one of the things that's really clear is your passion for it, and I'm already thinking, oh God, I'd love to be going on this course, do it again.
It's a gift. I feel like this is the best thing I've ever done in my entire life, and it's been a constant companion and tool. And there are times where I've been so on my mat and so in my meditations daily, every day. And then there are other times where it's more gentle and I don't need to do such intense practices, but it's always there, always.
Yeah. If you had one piece of advice that you could give to anybody who's thinking about it now, or, you know, maybe thinking about it in the future, what would you say to them?
Just come in and join our open day, or, you know, just go and get into a yoga class and just explore yourself, find your breath. Just do it. It's the best thing you could ever do. It's a massive toolbox that you can take bits out of whenever you need it. Endless support for you for the rest of your life. So do it.
Do it. Just do it. Yeah. So our open day is on the 22nd of July at 11 o'clock. So you'll find more information on our website. Maya will be here, who looks after the courses, and Bev, and we may have a few others here if we can get availability of maybe previous participants to have a chat. Yeah, have a chat with you. And look, if you just want to come in, you know, take a class or say hello on a different day, then please feel free to do that.
I'm always excited when people come in, because we're always looking to see whether you're a great fit for us or whether we're a good fit with you. And you will get stronger, you will find a practice that suits you. And on the open days, that's where we kind of discuss the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts of what we're going to put together on the course. How long and how much anatomy, because people get scared of anatomy, don't be, because I make it really accessible and fun.
Brilliant. Great. Well, listen, Bev, it was lovely to meet you, and thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you have to go back to the day job now again, so we hope to see you soon. Take care.